And I would like to also talk about conscious retreat, the retreat of consciousness. Um, Now, obviously, Simon Lewis, on the TED Talks director talk, he talked about absorption into technology. For example, a teen sending a ton of texts a day and being absorbed in this phone because of they're worried about what the hell their friend's doing or their boyfriend's doing or whatever stuff like that. This is dispersion into this one phone, which is worrying about something else that's going on, or dispersion into technology, a computer or an iPad or something like that. That is not only is that stuff like that unhealthy, but I think it's not. It's kind of it is a process of the consciousness retreating. I think is what it is. It's not being fully aware of where you are now because you're absorbed in something that's elsewhere. Which I think that I would have to say that most of the population of the world has consciousnesses that are all retreating. The majority, or no, not the world. Maybe the United States has consciousnesses that are retreating because everybody is always worried about what's going to happen next, or what's going on in 2 years. How am I going to do this? What's going to go on then? How's my project going to go out? How's this going to work? When is this going to happen? They're absorbed in things that aren't even here yet, that haven't even happened yet, or might not even happen. They're not here in the now. They're not focused on what's going on in the current presence, which that is dispersion. And I think if you have a level of dispersion, then you have conscious retreat. Retreat being what retreat actually is, I think, is further in. So I think when you're worried about something that is different from the now, as in your spatio-temporal location, if you're concerned with something that is different from your spatio-temporal location, and I mean I'm talking about not that far away from you. If you're conscious, with somebody across a room, that's fine. But I mean, if you're conscious with what your boyfriend is doing across town, texting him all the time and stuff like that, this is a form of dispersion. Thich Nhat Hanh, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Thich Nhat Hanh calls it dispersion, where you're not exactly conscious or one with what is now, or what you are doing now, which I think that is, and I think further and further dispersion. If you do not do something about this dispersion at some point, then you're going to have further dispersion, of course. Thich Nhat Hanh, he says, if you are conscious of your breathing, conscious of every movement, or conscious of everything that's going on in your body, and be oneness with the time that is now, and you do become dispersed, you can come like that and remove your dispersion and come back immediately conscious. And another way of conscious retreat, I would say, would just be worried about anything. Would just be worried about anything else. And I'm trying to think about other ways that the consciousness can retreat. The consciousness, here's what I was trying to think of. The word Weltanschauung, it's called worldview. It's the worldview in German. This means your opinion's the way you see it, and you're not going to see any other opinion because it's your worldview. If you spend too much time in that worldview and don't try to step out of it for a little bit, this I think is also conscious retreat. I think, but because you're not being conscious of what's really around you. If you find an atheist and don't recognize their beliefs or even take their beliefs into account, or if you try to argue something, without even taking the other side into account, this I think is somewhat of a retreat, because you're, and I think this is also somewhat of a dispersion of the consciousness, because you are focusing on one set of beliefs, which is, I think, is sort of unhealthy because for you. But I would say that any form of dispersion, whether that be with technology or whatever that is retreat. And I think most people today are, in the United States, like I said before, are dispersed. They're worried about all of these things that might not happen, or might have, are not even here yet. This is retreat. So I wanted to make this distinction, as I am a little bit more familiar, I have a little bit of a better understanding of what is retreat than I am with growth of consciousness. But I wanted to make this distinction to show how people actually are today. And I'm going to discuss the Zen Buddhist I've been talking about in these couple videos, but I wanted to make these couple notes here because these are going to be later pertinent to my discussions of antinatalism in the future.